Yes, people, welcome to the channel. Welcome to the show. We are back. It's myself, it's Lead Judges. And I thought we'd bring on the legend and a friend of the show and a friend to you all, which is Kenny. Kenny, how are you, bruv? Can you hear him or is that me?
I might myself up because
Oh.
I've got a couple of pork chops watching some stuff on Netflix, and I've got the volume up, lad, and they won't listen to me when I tell them to turn it down. Those couple of pork chops are my daughters, man. But I'm not leaving them in the freezer. They can go on a Barbies because they're good pair of pork chops.
Love it, man. Good to see you, man. Always a pleasure having you. And Lee, of course, good to see you. Yesterday in the hospitality again, my see, mate. I mean, what's happening here?
I'll tell you what, I had the best day. I've got to say, the hospitality at Bournemouth was incredible. And I'll tell you why it's incredible, because it's like a family club. So thanks to B&H Air Conditioning, they invited us down there. Gets there 11:30 night, which is like 3.5 hours before, and it's all drink and all that. But what they do is, first of all, you go onto the pitch and meet one of the players. So I met Alex Scott, who they've just signed from Bristol City.
Yeah.
So like you can imagine if it was the Arsenal, like you go and meet a player, he has a chat with you, blah blah blah. They have a player now. I'm going to struggle on his name now. Like it was something Fletcher was his name. Big player, played there for a load of years up front. Stephen Fletcher. He hosts it all and all that. Like then they bring in Dan Gosling, right, for a little bit of a chat and everything like that. Now, bearing in mind, all the drinks are all free and free flowing and all that, like, you know. And then at the end of the game, right, who they vote like for man of the match, like we were fortunate that the people that B&H were sponsoring the game, they have the choice of who they think's the man of the match, and the man of the match comes up into the room as photos of everybody and all that. Like, so it was the left back that played straight after the game. They've just lost 4-0. He comes up, has a chat and all that. It was incredible, absolutely incredible. Like, you know what I mean? Like hospitality, and of course they do a quiz. You know, we got 9 out of 10 on the quiz our table. Someone got 10 out of 10. And it was just an unbelievable day. So really, really enjoyable. And of course, Arsenal winning as well did help, like, you know what I mean? And then when you go into the area where the players come out and come in from the coach, you can just stand there by the stairs watching. It was incredible, absolutely incredible. So big up to Bournemouth and a big up to B&H Air Conditioning for sorting us out. It was just a wonderful.
It's a nice stadium as well, isn't it? It's a nice club. It's a nice feel around the club, and it's just a nice feel when you go there, innit? Do you know what I mean? You go there and you enjoy it. I enjoyed it last year. First time I've been there last year. I didn't get tickets this year, but I must say, like, I know it's a tiny ground and everyone goes, oh, it's so small, but you're close to the pitch. You can see everything. It's a real nice environment. The Bournemouth fans are a good bunch. I don't know. There's something about Bournemouth I like, Lee. There's something about it.
Yeah,
I like it.
Honestly, I'll tell you what, it's like watching. I can only describe it, and I don't mean this disrespect to Bournemouth and all that. It's like watching a non-league game because you're that close to the players. You know what I mean? You don't experience it anywhere else, and you see it as a different game of football, like, you know, and just a wonderful place to go. And like Bournemouth's lovely anyway. Like, you know, like we got down there Friday, the sun's shining, walking along the beach. You know, it's just a wonderful, wonderful place. And you know, like to get the 3 points as well, I have to say, was nearly the perfect weekend, wasn't it? Really, like, you know, at the end of it. But yeah, so and a fantastic performance, I have to say. So.
Yeah,
really
fair play. I'm glad you enjoyed it, mate. Glad you enjoyed it. Listen, I enjoyed it, and Kenny, I'm sure you did. But before we go into Arsenal, yet again this weekend has been all about the officials and VAR. And Kenny, I'll come to you. I gotta say, I was on the way back. I watched the game and did the watch along, doing all the fan cams. I travelled home and I thought, Tottenham have won last minute. That's a shame, but knew they were down to 10 men. Then I looked at it again. Oh, it was down to 9 men. So I watched it when I got in and I just thought, what the hell am I watching here? This is an absolute shambles. Now, I want to ask you, Ken, not so much what you think about it, because it's a shambles, the end. But I want to know what happens now. Something's got to happen here. Like, this can't just keep going on. Oh, we got it wrong. Sorry. Right, we're moving to next week. Oh, we got it wrong. Sorry. That's 2 now in 6 games. Wolves have had an apology. Now Liverpool have had an apology. Like, and last season, Lee Mason, he got sacked because he couldn't put the lines up against Arsenal at the Emirates against Brentford. Oh, sorry. Yeah. All right. We'll sack him. Now, for me, something needs to be done here to the highest order, because the amount of criticism players, managers, staff, fans all get, and these guys, it seems, are either corrupt, incompetent, or a bit of both. And something's got to happen now, Ken. I don't know what, but something's got to happen, man. What's your thoughts?
Well, first and foremost, are they still celebrating? Because I saw babies on a pitch. I saw high fives. I saw some really dreadful music, by the way. I mean, Robbie Williams, he should be banned from the charts from day one. And that awful take that music, but to have it blaring out, I just thought I thought the season was over. But in terms of what we saw in front of us, the thing is, you can't put a genie back in a bottle. VAR is here to stay. So all we need to do now is to make it better, because the technology, there's nothing wrong with the technology. It's the people that are using it. The fact is that you've got human beings making human errors. And the thing is that, unfortunately, our referees are not as good as they were probably 15, 20 years ago. And that is the crux of the problem. VAR works. We don't have problems when we watch the Bundesliga on Sky, or we watch, the Italian leagues, the French leagues on TNT Sports. No problems with VAR. Decisions, you can't even grumble about decisions, but it's always in England. And the reason why we're always going to have problems with the VAR in England is because the officials do not understand the offside law. They just don't. They don't. It's all about interpretation. When offside is facts, it's a fact. If the forward is in front, if before the ball is played, the forward is in front of the defender, it's offside. It's no grey areas whatsoever. In line used to be offside, but now it's onside. It's a goal, and that's the problem. We're having too many of these, but the problem is we can't go back to not having VAR, because we wanted VAR in the first place, because we complained about referees being useless at their jobs, making turning mistakes. So we said, right, let's get the referees a bit of help. So we've got the referees a bit of help, but you still got the same officials who made mistakes before VAR operating it, and that's the crux of the problem. Maybe we can experiment for a week. Maybe we can get swap officials, send some of our officials over to Italy and get some of the Italian officials and sit and, maybe they can teach our referees how to do it properly. Because, as I said before, there are no problems in any other country except for the UK, mainly England, the Premier League. No other problems. I don't hear about any controversies in France, Italy, Spain. None at all. And even the tackle yesterday, that's subjective. The guys played the ball, but normally he didn't lunge forward. It was an accident, but the letter of the law says you've got to send him off. So I'm okay with that. But the offside is shocking. But you know what? It's going to happen again. It's happen again because Howard Webb is still going to use the same officials. Doesn't matter if you suspend them, because the 2 officials who were in the VAR box yesterday, one of them was meant to be refereeing a game today. The other one was meant to be assistant referee. They got stood down. But what's standing them down? Liverpool don't get the 2 points or the points that they may have had to challenge the title. The only deterrent is, maybe experimenting with foreign officials, because it's clear that foreign officials are better than ours. And that was never the case. And you're right, Dan. You can't be that bad when you've got so much experience. You're professional referees. So we have to look at it and think, you know what? Something else is happening here, because that was a clear onside. You can't be that bad. You just can't be. So
it's a shambles. And, I've got to say this, and I'll come to you, judges. Like, I look around now, right? And this is serious. I look around at pundits and I think, there's some good pundits and there's some bad pundits. But there are some good pundits, right? There are really good pundits. There's some bad ones and we can debate who they are, right? But I can think of in the last 25 years, 15 to 20 years, the referees that I think were pretty hopeless. All of them have got jobs now. Dermot Gallagher, Mike Dean, Howard Webb, Mike Riley. They're all sitting in studios. They're all pundits. Peter Walton. They're all sitting there watching games with Soccer Saturday or with BT, or they're actually been put up into the actual official side of things behind the scenes. Now, where's Kalina? Probably the best referee I've ever seen. What's happening to him? Why don't they get him involved? He used to know what he was doing. Jeff Winter, he was one of the best probably referees that England have had in a long time. Where's he gone? And I'm not saying that they might not want to do it. They might want to sit at home. But why is it we've got all the clowns now sitting around doing referee watches and giving their expert opinions? For me, it's a joke. And it just comes to the conclusion to me that they're all in it themselves. They're all trying to look out for each other. And yesterday, they said, give the goal. The referees miscommunicated it and misunderstood it, not given the goal. And then they've let him take the free kick. They haven't said to him, oh, whoa, what's going on? It should be 1-0 here. What are you doing, ref? They've just let it go. Oh, we'll leave it there. We don't want to make him look like a clown. We'll protect him. 0-0 it is then. Off you go. Carry on going. What is going on here? Like, this is... What's got to happen now, Lee? Like, do we just get rid of this now? Do we just say VAR works, but you can't control it, so we scrap VAR and we just go back to the old way? Like, something's got to happen because teams are losing out here. And can I just say, by the way, this has got nothing to do with Tottenham. This is happening in every single game. This ain't nothing to do. He's moaning because Tottenham got the win. I couldn't give a shit. Right? This has happened against Man United, Wolves. Now this has happened all of last season, all the season before. There's more controversy in the last couple of years since it's been brought in than I've ever seen in my 30 years of watching Football League.
No, listen, VAR should be, is for me, is about fact, right? It's about fact, not opinion, right? Let's first of all say about the offside. When we see that, we're all saying that's on and all that, like, but do you know what? When they called it offside, I said, oh, well, like, you can't argue with fact. That's what I said when I was watching it yesterday. Can't argue with fact. Then I, like later on, they're saying they forgot to put the lines. That is a disgrace. It's happened too many times now. It's happened too many times for it to say, oh, we'll let it go. I, whether it happened to Arsenal, Liverpool, and whatever, like, Spurs got away with it yesterday. It's ruining football. Football was ruined yesterday. And the other thing about it is VAR is not doing what it's supposed to be doing. Right, now let's look at the sending off yesterday. Like, is it a fact that it's a red card or not? It's opinion, right? Because my opinion might be different to yours. Like, the referee on thing, so it was a deemed a booking. I personally think it's a booking because he's gone in with his toe and then the ball's gone over. Like, they actually show a stilled vision of the impact. Right. Well, when you see that, of course it's a red card. You know what I mean? But you haven't seen the circumstances before that, so it's that's not fact and that's not reality, right? And then because it's a yellow card and the player's not touched him, right? They can't get involved because it's a yellow card, right? But and that leads to a sending off 2 or 3 minutes late, which ruins a game of football. What a absolute joke of a decision. If someone's being booked for doing nothing, it should be allowed by VAR to say, do you know what? There's no contact there. That's not a booking. Because what it will do is affect you somewhere along the line, which it did. And even the second one's debatable whether he touched him or not, but I'm going to say probably was a booking, right? But the first one shouldn't have been, and then that's how it goes from there. Now, as for the offside goal, now you cannot keep turning round as a fit and purpose bit of like what I'll say now is when VAR is 100% correct and being used 100% correct, bring it back, use it, but it's not being used. There's too many mistakes in it, Dan. There's too many errors to say what we're doing now. Like it's continually happening. Now, if you've got somebody, like I'm sorry, but if you're a heart specialist, right? And you wake up in the morning and you've took out somebody's kidney. What is that going to do? Like, you know what I mean? Like, at the end of the day, that is their job to check the lines. Not only one of them, Dan, two of them. There's somebody else after him that should be checking it. Like, you know. Now, yesterday there was 3.5 minutes to see what Everton goal, right? Which I took 10 seconds to say there was a goal, right? Yeah. They could have actually gone back to it when they made the mistake. What, even if it was going for 2 minutes that game, I think they've got the right to go. Hold on a minute, we've got this wrong. We need to go back and address it, because it makes a mockery of what you're seeing afterwards. Like, you know what I mean? And I tell you what, now football, I believe now is finished. I don't enjoy football so much now, Dan. I really don't. Like, you know, I'm watching that game yesterday, and it's got nothing to do with Spurs. If I'll be honest, like, you know, because I'm going to really be honest about it now. I think it's beneficial more that Liverpool lose that game than Tottenham, if I'll be really honest, even though I don't want Spurs to win that game. So I'm not wanting it for because it's Tottenham or whatever. That was a good game of football yesterday. Ruined. Absolutely ruined. Now, with Liverpool, you know, they've had a few decisions go for them and go against. It's nothing to do with that, like, you know what I mean? If you're a fan yesterday that spent your money, let's just say that's us, right? Just say if it was us, you get a train down to get a train up to Liverpool, £100. You're paying £30 for your ticket, right? You know, you then might have to find a hotel, £200, £300, right? And to have that happen to you, I think is criminal. I think at the end of the day, you know what I mean, they shouldn't be saying sorry. Now that the Referees Association should be paying out every single Liverpool fan now their money back, because it's ruined. They're absolutely ruined. And Agreed. It's not because of fine lines or whatever. It's basic mistakes. You know, like it's VAR was brought to stop those decisions being made. Like, you know what I mean? Like, Dan, when I see it was onside, you say, well, how can they get that wrong? Now, is it corruption? Because I have to say something's not right for people to continue to get this wrong. They spent, I think, I remember a game, West Ham versus Arsenal. It was a game after we come back from, I think it was the game we come back from after the World Cup. Martinelli right on half time. And they spent 5 minutes, right, to determine that Martinelli was offside, right? And they can't be bothered to take more than 10 seconds for that. So why are you taking 5 minutes for one and not on another? You know what I mean? It's
well, they took long enough to look at the sending off, didn't they? Like Curtis Jones one. Well, so why didn't they take long enough to get the lines up? I mean, it was poor, man. Let's really
talk about the sending off. We're in it. Do you think it was a sending off?
I think the thing about it is that, again, you're right.
I'm asking you. For me,
I don't see it off.
You're in the VAR thing now. I'm asking you now, is it a sending off?
For me, I don't think it is.
It's not a sending off, because the referee on the field was closer to the action than any other player. He saw it, and what he saw was Jones make the tackle, get some of the ball, and then he, because of the accident, he said, right, even though you didn't mean to go for the player's leg, I've got to book you here. That's it. It's end off. But the problem is, it's the fact that the stud's gone onto the ankle. That's the thing, and that's the problem you have. The reason why they send you off for that is because, let's not forget what happened to our players. Let's not forget Eduardo and Ramsey. Now, in terms of Martin Taylor, that was a clumsy tackle, but he didn't mean to break Eduardo's leg. But he had to send him off because of the impact of it. And the same with Ramsey, you know, that Pratt Shawcross. He wanted to be the hard man, but he didn't. And that's the problem. That's why they do send them off. It's because
I'll get you on that. But my argument is it's about opinions, because you're going to have people now in the chat, right, are going to turn around and say, yes, they think it was a sending off. Now, I'm going to say it now. If you're sending him off for that tackle, right, in my opinion, Eddie has to go against Tottenham last week.
Yeah.
Because
Eddie should have gone against Tottenham last week. Should have gone.
Yeah, he should have.
it's about opinions, though. So, so realistically, for me, I think those decisions have to go on the referee that's refereeing the game because it's not facts. VAR should be facts, and then so they're not. So they're giving decisions on an opinion, right? Which me and you can vary on, and then when it's a fact that it's offside, they're still not getting it. So what is the point of it? I think it's a joke. I really do think it's a joke.
And I think what it is now as well, right? And I honestly don't know what your thoughts are on this. I would get rid of these absolute clowns sitting in their Stockley Park. That's what I would do. So the referee gives a decision, right? Everyone crowd round me. Give me 2 seconds. I'm just going to go and look at it again. Now, I'm looking at this again and I'm thinking, I've got this right or I've got this wrong. That's what I think it should be. Now, what we've got now is we've got penalty. I've given the penalty. I'm going to go check it. Yeah, you might want to check this. Right. Now, let me just talk in your ear for 3 minutes while you're looking at this. Look at this here. Have you thought about that? Did you look at that clip on there? Did you think it'd gone a bit too hard there? Do you think, oh, hang on a minute. I just want to watch it first without you in my ear roll. Now I've got pressure on me. Shit, 4 people have been in the background here telling me that I've got something wrong. What is it I'm supposed to have got wrong? I must be. Oh, I'm going to have to give it then. I'm going to have to give it. Oh, my God, I'm going to have to give it. Come on, man. What are we talking to him for in his ear? Let him watch it. He's a referee. He can make the decision. Does he think he's got it right? Does he think he's got it wrong? That's what the technology should be. And another thing, Kevin, another thing, for me, I was against this coming in. And I'll tell you why I was against this coming in. There's 2 different things here. Am I for technology? Yes. But is football black and white enough to have these decisions made? I don't think so. Goal line technology is black and white. It's either over the line or it ain't. That's black and white. You can't use that term for every other thing. Is it handball? Did it brush off his leg first? Has it hit his arm? Is that a part of his body? Is that actually mean his arm? Has that actually count as his arm? Oh, has he gone for the ball? Now his foot's rolled over the ball. That might not mean it's a red card. Now it's rolled over the ball. This is all grey areas. There's no black and white. 100%. So none of that stuff should be VAR. It should be a decision I've made. Sorry, we can't go VAR. It's just too grey. We're going to have to move on. I've given the decision. I'm sticking with it now. I don't know, man.
The thing is with VAR, the most contentious decisions in football is offsides, is sending offs, is goal, is it over the line or not, and penalties. So unfortunately, that's why we have to have VAR. It's because before VAR, every pundit, every ex-player, every manager, every journalist, basically everyone who had a stakeholder in football, be it external or internal, always said the referee needed a bit of help. And the problem is that other sports are putting football to shame. Cricket puts us to shame. Rugby puts to shame. And tennis puts us to shame. And that's the problem with football, is that all these sports can live with technology. But the problem with football is that we don't like change. And that's we got to remember what it was like before then and why we wanted the VAR. And we have to accept that rather than try and put the genie back in a bottle, what we need to do is get better people in. All right, better people. Make it factual. For instance, I think that if the ball hits a player's hand in the penalty area, it's a handball's handball. I don't believe in accidental handball. Handball should be black and white. If you're going for a league title and say Romero hits Romero's arm in the 95th minute and you need that goal to win you the league title, that should be given as a penalty. Not, oh, he didn't mean it. That if you had clarity around the handball rule, we wouldn't have these issues where it's handball or not. And that's the problem. There's too much lack of clarity between handball. And again, the same with the tackles. We've got to decide, right, if he goes over the top, whether it's an accident or not, too bad, off. That's what they should do. And I think that's what they're trying to do. Unless we are black and white, then we're going to have a lot of situations where we're going to spend, 25 minutes of an Arsenal show talking about Tottenham and Liverpool. But that's the thing. Too many people have got different opinions. And then
exactly.
We've got to make it factual.
It's not black and white, man. It's 2 grey areas. And unfortunately, man, I don't know where we...
Handball should really, in my opinion, should be a situation. You shouldn't be handling... It's football, not handball. You know what I mean? It's football.
In my day, handball was never an issue. When I played football, from handball in penalty was never an issue. You know what I mean? It was deliberate handball or not, like, you know what I mean? And that was
Well, that's the thing. You used the word deliberate. What I'm trying to say. Well, you know, they're not giving you know, like I said, penalties for deliberate handballs. They're giving penalties because you may not mean it, but they're not giving it for a part of the hand it hits, or if your hand's in an alleged unnatural position. And that's the thing with the handball rule. It's, you know, just say if it hits your hand, whether it's accident or not, it's a penalty, and then we can be done with it. And then we remove one bit of the grey areas that we don't like in football.
Yeah, man. Listen, let's move on to the Arsenal game. I think we've cleared up that, and we know that we're not a fan of it. And I think, honestly, something needs to be done. They either need to be sacked, or Liverpool are going to be fuming. Liverpool are going to be absolutely fuming. But Tottenham are now in the title race because they beat 9-men Liverpool in the last kick of the game. Well done, Tottenham. Fair play to you. You listen to their fans. It's embarrassing, to be fair, but there we go. Anyway,
saying that though, if it was you still celebrate that win. I know it's bad on them and whatever, like, but that's a big win for them. Whether they deserved it or not is another thing.
Yeah, you celebrate a win, but going into title races and stuff is a bit
Lee, is your brother watching this, by the way? Because I know your brother's Tottenham. I've heard a brotherly laugh.
I don't know how they're at. If it was me, I'd celebrate on the day.
I'm all for brotherly laugh. Come on, mate.
If I was there, I'd be celebrating it that day and then keeping very, very quiet after.
Yeah, well, the latter sometimes don't happen. Not all Spurs fans, but some of them. My word, it's quite embarrassing. But there we go. Listen, Lee, talk to me about the performance yesterday of Martin Ødegaard and Declan Rice, because I thought they were the two standouts for me. I was very, very impressed with everything I saw from Declan Rice. And Martin Ødegaard, was pretty much involved in every goal. And from what we hear now, showed a little bit of class in giving a penalty to Kai Havertz. What did you make of these two, man?
Listen, I thoroughly enjoyed the performance. I thought it was a really, really good professional performance from 1 to 11. And the subs that come on, I've got to say that first and foremost, I felt that Eddie proved himself, played really, really well. I do think with Eddie, I think that away from home, he suits us a little bit better. Work rate was there. I thought he played really, really well. I also think that, considering that I didn't think he was 100% fit, Declan Rice, just watching him, he was just sort of like in third gear, second to third gear. I thought he was brilliant on the day. Martin Ødegaard was sensational. And I thought Kai Havertz was really, really good as well, guys. I thought he played really well. It was his best performance. I took a real close eye on him yesterday. I was watching him probably more than what I should have been, really, because I've just thought what I see. Done some good things, breaking up, playing, all that. His best performance. But also, I have to say, there was a couple of defensive performances there that I was really impressed with. When we had to shut them down on a couple of occasions, Saliba and Gabriel just shut the door, boys. They just shut the door on them. And I thought it was a really, really good, solid performance, away performance. I sat there and I actually felt that it was comfortable from the first minute to the last. I don't think you can get better away performances at, if I'll be honest. I thought it was really, really good. Was worried, I'm not going to lie, when they give Havertz the penalty, because I actually thought, this can either go one way or the other. He took it fantastically well, to be honest. The one thing that I will say, though, I don't understand the song, guys. I don't understand. What I mean? Can someone please explain that to me? 60 million down the drain. What does that actually? I don't understand it.
So what they're saying is that Chelsea
are throwing money down the drain, or what?
What it is taking the mick out of it. Everyone said that it was 60 million down the drain, and look, he scored again. That's what the song is.
Right.
So they're saying you can say you think we've thrown money down the drain, but look, he's scoring, so we ain't. That's what the song's saying.
Is that very? What's the name to him?
I think it's supposed to be saying, "Don't worry, Kai. We don't think you're 60 million worth of waste. You're scoring for us. Keep going." That's what the song's basically supposed to be saying. The reason I don't like it, one, is because we can't really sing it after one goal, because he's got to score again. So it ain't again. It's his first goal. You know what I mean? But I didn't mind. I didn't mind it if it was quite clever.
The actual energy behind the song was fantastic and all that night. You know what I mean? And but I didn't.
Yeah, but that's what the song is. It's basically saying he's not a waste of money. He scored a game. That's what the song's supposed to be replicating.
Yeah, as Donna turned around and said, they've got to change that song. You know, like they keep singing Tierney at the back.
Well, why are we singing that anyway? I mean, I can't. I get told off when I say about it, but why are we singing that?
You know, again, sing it. I ain't got no problem about singing it, man. But you know, I sing it now with Saliba at the back. I go Saliba at the back, Gabby in attack. I don't know what the song is. I just make up.
It's not even that. It's the start of it. It's Tierney at the back and Arsenal on their way to the Champions League. I mean, aren't we in the Champions League now? I can't believe, you know, for me, Tierney at the back, Gabby in attack, Arsenal on their way to the Champions League. I mean, what an absolute nonsense that is. I mean, I said it at the time, don't sing songs about coming top 4, but I got told off. So for me, change the words to Saliba or Zinni at the back, whatever you want to do, Gabby in attack, and say Arsenal are going to win the Premier League. Will you raise the standards? Jesus Christ.
You can put Gabby, Zinni, Saliba. But why not? I don't get it. I don't get that song. I don't see why they're still singing Tierney at the back.
It's crap. It's a crap song, man. I can't stand it. I never sing it. I never have.
That's
never
what
will.
I'm going for, Sam. Saliba at the back, Gabby in attack.
Yeah, and Arsenal and Arsenal got to win something, not Arsenal on the way to win the league or win the Champions League, whatever. Arsenal going to get top 4. I can't stand it. I'm like, this is awful. Like, why are we singing this crud? Anyway, that's that. That's enough about songs because we'll get told off if we start. The singing police will tell us off. Like, get me on the team. Yeah, we are, mate. We don't sing silly songs like that. It's just embarrassing. Anyway, but those 2 performances, Kenny, were really, really key. And I wanted to ask you, Kenny, because for me, I think that there was quite an excitement about Declan Rice. And I mentioned this yesterday on my fan cam. But, mate, this guy is absolute mustard. Like, literally, mate, in every single game he's played, for me, he's been one of the best players, if not the best player. And yesterday, again, today, like Lee said, it was effortless, mate. You know, he's an absolute machine and a monster in the middle there. And, you know, a lot of people said to me, oh, this is a great signing. I knew he was class at West Ham. He was really impressive in the internationals for England at the tournament in particular. And since he's come to Arsenal, it's not just what I'm seeing, it's everything off the pitch I'm loving. And I'm on the pitch, I'm in awe of the guy. Like, he's turning into one of my favourite players, Kenny, Declan Rice, already.
Well, he's only been here 5 minutes. But, you know, so far, so good. But one thing about Declan is that he's very much an embracer of anything he puts his hat to. Let's not forget, he was a great embracer when he was an Irish international. You know, he sang Erin de Barine, you know, effortlessly until England did well in the World Cup in Russia and he decided he was English. So he's very much of an embracer of the English national side, very much an embracer at West Ham. And he's an embracer at Arsenal. So Declan's a very natural embracer and he fits in effortlessly. Declan's an excellent footballer. He can equally play in defence and he's an excellent midfielder. But if I could be bold and to say that we only seen the little bits. We're going to see a lot more because I think at £105 million, there's a position that I have, you know, what I have in my mind for him, and I would like to see what he can do in a number 8 role. You know what I mean? That's the role that I would like to see Declan because I think he's capable of doing it. Right. I think Graham Souness has got a point that, you know, probably need to see more of a goal threat from Declan because he's that kind of player. He's got that amount of ability. But in terms of what he's done for the football club, as I said, yesterday was an easy game for him because, you know, it just shows us one thing: why our manager, you know, plays Saka wants to play Saka every game. He wants to play 80% fit Declan Rice, and one of the reasons why he has to do it is because there's still a discernible gap between our second string and our first choice players, and it's a bit worrying, and it begins to pose questions on whether we could bridge the gap between ourselves and Man City. Because if you look at Man City, the gap between their first and second string is basically like, well, there isn't a gap. And I think that's what our performance showed yesterday, is that the need for us to keep on making sure we keep our key players fit, and Declan's one of them. But you're right, Declan's he's a natural. His reading of a football match is exemplary. But, when Thomas Partey comes back from injury, I like to see Thomas Partey back in his natural position, and I like to see if we can try Declan in a number 8 position, because I think Declan could do it. I really, really, let's just say, I'm really excited at the prospect of a midfield 3 of Martin, Odegaard, Thomas Partey and Declan Rice, because I think they're
same here, mate.
Our 3 best midfielders. But obviously, Mikel thinks our best player is Bukayo Saka, because he never drops him. But that midfield can take us a long way. That midfield can get some silverware. And who knows, we can do more than shadow box in Europe with that midfield. But the sooner Thomas Partey is fit, fully fit, that midfield, just excited about it. Sorry, Kai, but I'll be a results business, mate. That means you might have to sit on the bench, and who knows, our fans maybe can think of another song for him. But talking about the songs, you think you knew the reason why you swerved me, because you knew I might say something controversial, and I am going to say something controversial. Why the hell can that poor lad Smith Rowe not have his own song? How pathetic, Saka and Smith Rowe, the same song. Really? Come on, do better, mate. You got about 3 songs for Bukayo Saka. Get Smith Rowe's song. Do better. And don't get me started on that North London Forever song. And I can say it with great authority. I'm from Islington. I'm from North London. You lot ain't. So I can tell you right now, the song is a complete and utter pile of kids are watching, so I'll keep my counsel.
Mate,
there is a lot of people though in the stadium that don't like that song. I'm not going to mention names.
Lee, I'm from Islington, mate. I'm from Islington. You've got some people on Twitter go, yeah, that song reminds me of Islington because it reminds me of my dad. My dad is Islington born and bred. What, do you need So I thought that if you need an Irish passport, an Irish passport if you're from the Republic of Ireland, you need a German passport, Italian passport. I didn't need you needed a passport for being for your parents being born and bred in Islington. Like I said, every day's a school day, isn't it?
I don't mind the actual anthem-y bit with the actual bit we sing, but the rest of the song is questionable in parts, I must say. But I don't mind it.
Stick to the chorus and that's it. Like, you know what I mean? So,
yeah. Fair
good
play, man.
Good old Arsenal would do for me.
Kenny, you with me on that one? Good
Absolutely.
old Arsenal.
Always was. Good old Arsenal at Highbury. What's wrong with that? We stopped it.
I love it.
Yeah, good old Arsenal.
Even though Jimmy Hill pinned it, doesn't matter. It's still a good song.
Yeah. I like it like that.
I must say I don't mind the North London for it when it's being sung in a stadium. I think it does come across well. But yeah, I'm all up for if you want to.
And I will say this: the Saka one I do like, and what I enjoyed about not being in the away end yesterday was you could see the fans and the energy of the away fans is fantastic. By the way, I have to say that. Like, and the songs are fantastic.
Our away fans are the best in the country.
Fantastic, Ken. But
Smith
Rowe one, I think I do like that song. I do like it, but I see where Kenny's coming from on that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I do see where Kenny's coming from on that one, but I absolutely. I do like it, and I think it's a very, very good song. The Saka one, by the way, I know they're singing the Kai Havertz one yesterday, but they sung the Saka one yesterday, and I'm walking out singing that song, like, you know what I mean? Like, I think it's a really catchy song, and I'm going to say it now. The Odegaard one, I love it.
Odegaard's quality one. That's quality. It's Odegaard's quality, man. Is the Saka the one? Saka running down the wing. Saka, that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Saka. I actually do like that one.
The Odegaard one.
Starboy. Don't you like Starboy? You know, tribute to David Bowie. Another Saka song. We've got so many, isn't it?
There is so many.
Whoever's watching this, I know a lot of fans from all over the spectrum watch this. Go to the how I say it, go to St John's Wood, get your lyrics out. Let's have a song for Smith Rowe, because I think he'll be featuring quite a bit more this season.
Fair play, man. Fair play. Listen, judges, it was a convincing performance. Bournemouth didn't really turn up, to be fair. We did well. We dominated. And obviously, Kai Havertz we'll mention next. I kind of disagree. I didn't think he was fantastic yesterday. I didn't look at his performance and go, cool, yeah, he's arrived. It was all right. I think he scored the penalty well. I think he was a good penalty, actually. And I think he won some balls. He did some duels. He did some nice headers, passed some nice footballs. But I'm not looking at him yet going, yeah, he's staying in the team. That performance for me wasn't, wow, no one's getting in now. He's in.
No, I agree with that. I agree with that. But
it was all right. It was all right.
Yeah, I think he was more than all right. I thought, like, he played well. He played well. Where the last few games I've turned around and said he's been okay. He's done okay. He's done that. Yesterday he played well. That doesn't mean to say that he deserves to stay in for the next game. You know what I mean? Like, Eddie played well yesterday. You know what I mean? But like, if Trossard and Martinelli are fit, I'd rather see them in there. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But it was that was his best performance. Forget about the goal. I felt that it was a good performance from him. I felt that afterwards, you could see that there was a little shot of confidence in him as well, like after that penalty, And listen, I'm going to say this now: he cannot fault the backing of the Arsenal fans and the manager. And
absolutely,
everything, like, for what's going on at the moment, like the players, you know what I mean? You can see that they know that he's own, they're all backing him. He's got the platform now. As far as I'm concerned, he's got a fantastic platform to say, do you know what? I'm fortunate to be here, but I'm loving it. This is the place to be. There's a feel-good factor at this football club. I want to be really successful here. He's being given all the platform to make that happen. Like, the fans were fantastic towards him yesterday, and at the end of the game, Dan, like, they sung that song from the minute the game finished till all those players went off. You know what I mean? So, listen, I'm not going to go mad about his performance, but that was certainly a shot in the arm for him. He done very well in that game.
Yeah, listen, I'm not saying he was poorly by any means. I thought he was all right. Kenny, Lee's right. The fans have got behind him. They've given him a song.
Yes.
The managers had faith in him. They've played him.
Yes.
The players themselves have all said, listen, mate, we're with you. Do you think that goal and that confidence and belief from everybody around him will do him wonders moving forward now? And what do you expect to see from Kai Havertz?
Well, the thing is, a good point that Lee made about, that he did okay, and that's the crux of the problem. He's okay enough at £65 million for a player that was described a few years ago as a generational player. And because before he got that penalty, I ain't gonna lie to you guys, I was speaking to friends, and speaking to obviously people I do podcasts as well. And the thing with Kai, if you compare him to other signings like Henry and Bergkamp and even Robert Perez, you always thought with, even though like they had slow starts, you could see a good game. You could see that they're going to come good. You could always, a good game was going to come in the future. I think with Kai, I'm not so sure with Kai. I'm really not so sure, because I knew what Robert Perez was good at when he joined us from Marseille. I knew what Dennis Bergkamp was good at when he joined us from Internazionale. And I knew that Henry had fabulous pace. He played up front in Monaco, and that, he obviously played on the left, but I knew that if we played him up front, he'd be a good player. The problem I have with Kai Havertz, I don't know what Kai's strengths are. He's been, when he's at Chelsea, he's played at the false number 9. I don't know if he was successful in that position. He can play in the Odegaard position. I'm not sure he's success there. And then we've earmarked him in the position that we found for Granit Xhaka. And that's the thing with Kai. Are we going to have a situation where he's Ozil-esque, albeit you kind of could tell that Ozil, there's a good game. Maybe Ozil played 1 in 5 good games. With Kai, I'm not so sure. Even though he got that penalty, I still look at Kai and I'm thinking, you know what? I need more than what you're giving me, because I know you're a fantastic footballer. No doubt, until Pepe left the club, they're probably the best technical players we have. But that translating on the pitch and being able to do it on a regular basis for Arsenal, I'm not so sure as I was with those players, because what is Kai's best position? What can he? Is he a midfielder? Can he play behind the front too? Can he drift down the left? Can he play up top? I don't know. And it's not a
That's
case of
the problem, Kenny. He's not really been good at any of those positions. You don't look at him and go, that is where he is. That's his best position. This is a problem. He's been okay in all of them.
It's not an Arsenal thing. I always got that impression when I watched it at Chelsea because, you know, I'm a football tragic. I watch all football. I watch every club. I'm a sadder. I watch the odd podcast. I even watch the opposition podcast just to get a grip of how their fans feel. And I've been watching Kai for a few years. And when I do watch the odd Chelsea game as a voyeur, he probably had one good game in about 5. And I think that's the best we're going to get from him. We just have to accept that we're going to get okay performances and then we're going to get a spectacular performance. But the problem is, I don't know when that spectacular performance is going to happen because he's playing a better side than he was at Chelsea in terms of it's more settled. We've got creativity from Martin Odegaard. Saka's playing beautiful football. Martinelli's like a steam train. Sorry, no, like an express train. Pardon that. And then we now got a proper goalkeeper who can build attacks. Yet Kai's still playing okay. Yesterday's performance is okay.
I'll tell you what I did notice yesterday. Okay. I'll tell you what I did notice yesterday. We play a lot of intricate little football, little touches, little passes, very, very neat, very, very quick, little channels. I imagine that's difficult. Well, looking at it's very, very difficult to do, right? I don't think it's easy. So to come in and just get that naturally, I think it's going to take a little while. And I'm not defending Kai Havertz when I'm saying this. I'm looking at other players like Vieira. I watched Vieira come on yesterday and he got it, bosh, going around. But it took him a little while to get to know that sort of thing. When you're up close to it, like I was yesterday, you could see how unbelievably how quick it actually is. As they've controlled it, they're knocking it off. And if you ever look at the fourth goal, you say they get it because they get a foul on Vieira because they just couldn't get near him in real tight areas, real tight areas. I don't think that Havertz has got that quickness yet into his game, the little sharpness that you need there.
The thing is, he seems to play better for his country than he plays for his club because, you know, there was a glimpse of Kai's talent in the Euros 2021. There was the odd game. You know, remember the game against Portugal, you know, when Germany smashed it to pieces. He was fantastic during that game. And I know there were a few good performances in qualifiers for the national side. But I don't know. It's all subjective. But I'm just saying, from what I'm looking at, we've got Declan Rice cost £105 million. We're not seeing okay performances. We're seeing accomplished performances. And he's brought that form from West Ham and from the national side. What we're seeing for Kai Havertz is it's like 8 games in, he still made his debut because the performance he's been showing us so far. You can accept that if that was his debut in it depends what you want to call his debut. You want to call his debut Man City in the Community Shield, or you want to call his debut in Nottingham Forest at home at the Emirates. Whatever it is, those are the same level of performances I'm seeing from Kai. Nothing's really changed. You know, he ain't alarmingly bad. I think he was alarmingly bad in probably one game, but the other games he's okay.
Yeah, and I think the thing is, a lot of people are saying,
I like that song. I'm just going to say it. I do like that.
Oh, yeah, I've been reading that song a couple of times. Not sure it'll come off very well, but
we'll make the grade. But I actually quite like it. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
keep up the good work.
Keep up, Captain Cringe. Lastly on this, because we do need to move on. I'll say this. I understand why people say, well, we wrote off Fabio Vieira. The difference with that is Fabio Vieira didn't have 3 years in the English Premier League for Chelsea. Fabio Vieira come as a 21-year-old from Portugal. So he's going to have time to adapt to the league. Havertz don't need time to adapt into England and life and football and league. He just needs time to adapt into an Arsenal team, which, let's be honest, shouldn't be too hard to adapt to at the moment with how things are around the club. A few years ago, I might sit there and say, yeah, fair play, a little bit of toxicity. But right now, all we keep hearing is how buzzing everyone is and how everyone's happy to play it for us here. He's got all the love in the world here, so there's no more excuses for me. I want to see him kick on, and I hope that he does. Lee, there was a concern though. There's mostly positives this weekend, to be fair, and it's injuries. To be honest with you, still no sign of obviously Timber and Partey, but few knocks and a few kind of up in the air really about who was actually going to play against Bournemouth, and there is now up in the air who's going to play Tuesday and who's going to be fit for City. But I have to ask the question: what is Mikel doing when he's leaving Saka on for that long? Why is Saka not coming off? He put the subs on and I thought, oh, here we go. Get Saka off, get a couple of lads off. Brilliant stuff. Had Nelson warming up and I think it was Tomiyasu. And he brought off Zinchenko and Eddie. And I thought, what the hell is he doing? And then next minute, boom. Oh, surprise. Saka's now down and he's a doubt. The manager's got to take blame for that, Lee, hasn't he?
Yeah, a little bit. I agree with the Zinchenko one. He's still feeling his weight back into the team and all that. And I thought that was about right. And I called it. I said, right, the two are coming off are Saka and as soon as I see the substitutions, I said Saka and Zinchenko were the two to come off. Very, very surprised to see Jesus then, who, by the way, wasn't fit to do 90 minutes the other day when you're 3-0 up, then put down the middle, like, you know. So I do question those substitutions at the end of the day. Great that he got Declan Rice off when he could, like, you know. I don't know if it is because he feels that he can trust someone to do what Saka does. I don't know. I don't know what it is. You know, I don't think it's too serious on Saka. I think he just went in for a tackle and he just got kicked a little bit like on the follow through. But, you know, listen, I think we're going to have to see that with Saka. Someone said, I think it was Robbie said it yesterday, that, you know, Messi never was taken off. Ronaldo was never taken off. Star players are never taken off. They keep playing and playing and playing. So
I get that, Lee, and I get that. I totally respect that, and I absolutely bang on with that point because Dan, who sits by me, was saying that as well. But they didn't play Ronaldo and Messi when he was crocked and hardly fit. They got him off so they can claim for the next game. And that's what I've got to get better at.
The game's won at 3-0, Dan. The game's won at 3-0.
Yeah, you've got to get him off, man.
It was won at 4-0 the other day when at PSV. Get him off and get him off early. Like, you know what I mean? As I said, I agree with the Zinchenko one. I think, by the way, I still think he's key to how we play. It's no coincidence that since he's come back into the team, there's a little bit more balance in the team. But yeah, for me, you know, listen, I'm going to be really honest with you now. I'm going to say I'm not going to be that disappointed if Saka don't play Tuesday.
No, same. I hope he don't.
You know, Trossard was on the bench, so maybe like play Trossard, Jesus on the right, and Eddie down the middle or something like that. I wouldn't be too bad about that, because as great as that result was, boys, you know what I mean? Like what happened in the Black Country was an added bonus to us. Like, you know what I mean? Like I never thought we was going into this game next Sunday being 1 point behind Manchester City. Or if someone would have told me that, I would have laughed at you. For them to fall down, and I'm going to be really honest with it now, very, very good time to take on Man City, because they have a few injury problems. They have a few players that are not quite, you know, they're missing De Bruyne, they're missing Rodri, you know what I mean? Like, they've got to play on Wednesday. You know, two of their big players out for the first time in a very, very long while. We're going to play Man City with players down. They've had their full team out on the last couple of occasions. So for me, I'm looking at Sunday as a you know, like, can we get through Lons with making a couple of changes? I think that we will make a couple of changes, and one of them being Saka. That would be my
yeah.
I would do that for this game. You know, make sure that Saka's ready for Sunday. And if I'm wrong,
I actually think we should make some serious changes Tuesday, and only because of this Man City game is a must win. Now, if it means that we drop a point at Lons because we've made a few changes, it would be disappointing. I still think we've got enough to beat them, but I would make some changes, man. I'd leave a couple of them in, maybe leave Gabriel, maybe you know, Jesus through the middle. Maybe we do that. But for me, I think you start to make changes, and I think you make sure that 11 is fit for Man City and fully fit as well. With Martinelli coming back, Trossard coming back, Vieira back from injury, Rice now back. rumours of Party, but I think he probably is going to miss it from what I'm hearing. But other than that, I want everybody fit, and I'm hoping one of them is Bukayo Saka, man.
Yeah, like, listen, I think that Martinelli was close. I think I heard rumours that he was close to being fit for this game. So I would like to see Martinelli coming on last 20 minutes of that game on Tuesday to just give him a run out so that he's available. I think Thomas Partey, I don't know what's happening there. Like, there's rumours that he may but will be there, but they're looking probably after the international break. But don't forget, like, this is the last game before the international break. So for me, if Saka can be rested for the England games, would be a big bonus for me. Like,
That won't happen. Southgate will love to play him.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think he will. Like, but I think that. Listen, we played Brentford the other day, and those substitutions, the ones that come in. That listen, I don't know if Kenny agrees with me. This, I don't think there's much when we talk about drop off. If you brought in Tomiyasu, I don't think there's much of a drop off. You know what I mean? Like, if you bring in Trossard on this game, I don't think it's too much of a drop off. You know what I mean? 2 or 3. You know what I mean? Like, I'd like to see Rice carry on playing. No, it's a difficult one because I just think that we need Rice. I think if he doesn't play, we lose too much in that midfield. But like, if we're winning by a couple of goals, I think that Jorginho can come on and do a job last 20, 25, 30 minutes. Not got a problem with that. And yeah, so I 3 or 4. As I say, you know what I mean. Will he rotate the goalkeepers as well? I don't know. I don't think that he will. But I just think that some players just need just a little bit of rotating there. By the way, and to be honest, be really honest about it, like the likes of Saliba, White and Gabriel, they weren't really physically tested.
No.
On Sunday. So could they do another 2 games? I think maybe they could.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see, Kenny, what he's going to do. And Mikel Arteta has got a big test on his hands this season for me, hasn't he, with the squad rotation thing? 1, to keep players happy, but 2, to use them wisely. And I'm just not sure that he sometimes does get it right when it comes to Bukayo Saka. And I'd like to see that dealt with a bit better. I've got no problem with him wanting to play him because he's a top quality player. And it might not surprise me if Saka's knocking on his door saying, play me. But you've got to be wise as a manager and say, no, I can't play you, mate. So what's your thoughts on this one, bro?
Well, one thing about Mikel Arteta, he's the way he played since he's come to the club, he changes season upon season in terms of personnel, tactics. One thing he's never changed is Saka. Saka is the team. His whole, whatever style he implements, the player that is fulcrum to everything he does is Bukayo Saka. But I can tell you now, Bukayo Saka will never, ever be rotated. He'll be playing on Tuesday because that front three, he cannot contemplate a front three without Bukayo Saka. But in his mind, and for what we've seen, if we do the eye test, Bukayo Saka is his best player. Not Martin Odegaard, not Thomas Partey, not Smith Rowe, not Trossard, not Martinelli. He cannot contemplate a front three this Tuesday without Bukayo Saka because in his mind, his front three and his attack is significantly weakened without Bukayo Saka, and therein lies the problem. If you've built your side around one player's attacking prowess, then you're never going to drop him. And even you guys are talking about changes. The Champions League's this isn't the Europa League; it's a Champions League. Which means there's going to be no rotation of our goalkeepers. The number one will play in the Champions League because the Champions League is as important as the league, and that's the problem. We're going to see the same personnel that we saw yesterday, this Tuesday, because it's an important game. Because it's important that Arsenal, make a dent in the Lons, try and get themselves into the next stage of the Champions League. So that's how it looks in my opinion. I've never seen him drop Saka. Every time Saka gets a knock, he comes back, patches him up, and plays him because he has to. There's only one game when Saka didn't start, and that was against Crystal Palace. We won 4-1. But if you saw the way we attacked down the right-hand side, it was different. It was slower. And that's the problem. With Martinelli not being fully fit, you basically got no pace in that front three. So he needs pace, but he needs a bit of trickery, because Saka is the sort of player that can draw a foul. He can, take free kicks. He's hungry for goals as well. So, in fact, I can go as far to say that the only reason why we're getting Neto is because he's going to probably push Saka further forward and make him more Gareth Bale-esque. That's how highly he rates Bukayo Saka. I mean, of all the players that I've seen at the Arsenal, every player seems to be dispensable except for that lad. Therein lies the problem. If Mikel Arteta's opinion about Bukayo Saka, they tell me to rest him, tell me to rotate him. I'm going to flog him, not because I don't care about him. I need him.
Yeah.
And he needs Saka in that front three. The drop-off when Saka's not in that front three is alarming. You will notice it.
Yeah.
I'm telling you now, you will notice it. He's that good.
Breaking news: Michael Beale has been sacked by Rangers after 10 months.
Well, he should have stayed at QPR.
Yeah.
If you don't, that's the thing. Don't be a disloyal pork chop. Then, the job was too big for you.
Yeah, I think that was the wrong move for him. So he's been sacked.
It's not rocket science. If you go, you only have one job: finish above Celtic. You win the Scottish Premier. You can't do it. Get back to being assistant. I'm sure QPR. I'm sure they got Gareth Ainsworth.
He was flying at QPR as well when they were doing really, really well.
Yeah.
So
he went to Scotland. No sympathy for the man.
No, I'm with you on that. I'm with you on that.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Good riddance.
I thought it was a poor move. Listen, before we wrap up, I wanted to lastly ask you very quickly. I'll let Lee have the last say on this, actually. So, Kenny, I'll stick with you on this question. Raya and Ramsdale, obviously, we saw midweek how well Ramsdale played. Clean sheet, world-class save. Raya, I thought yesterday was very comfortable. And again, another clean sheet. I like what's happening in terms of both goalkeepers. I just think Mikel could have perhaps dealt with it a little bit better. And I had my say on that on a few channels this week. But I wanted to ask you, because I haven't spoke to you about it, like, where do you see this going long term? Because at the moment, this is for you, Ken. Because I feel like there's definite opinions that are quite different with.
You're not going to like what I'm going to say, mate. You're not going to like what I'm going to say.
Go for it. I'm always open with you, mate. So say it how it is. Go for it.
I'm going to tell you how it is. Mikel Arteta should have got Raya in the team earlier. The minute he signed him, he should have started in Crystal Palace. I mean, I think it's an opinion which is probably favourised about whether Aaron Ramsdale had a good game against Brentford. That's opinions. The fact is, let me tell you what happened against Brentford, because I was in the crowd with you, Lee, albeit you were in behind the goal. Aaron Ramsdale is devoid of any confidence. He doesn't come for any crosses, be it from set pieces or from corners. He basically let our defenders do all his fetching for him. Yeah, he tried to play out the back, but the drop off in between Aaron Ramsdale and Raya is unbelievable. Aaron Ramsdale was overachieved by playing at Arsenal. The fact is that Mikel Arteta, let's deal with facts. Mikel Arteta has been chasing Raya for 3 years. That's a fact. We knew about this when he was in goal for Brentford in the playoffs against Fulham in 2020. And then the year afterwards, he was after Onana because of his kicking ability, but Onana failed his drugs test. Then he's gone to Aaron Ramsdale. Aaron Ramsdale and Jamie Carragher is probably right. And the reason why he's right, Mikel Arteta is a user in a very managerial sense. He moves it on his style on for the players he has at his disposal. The first full season was all about keeping, getting rid of the bad eggs and keeping certain senior players on side to have allies and session. And then second season, after lockdown, he went with a younger side. Ramsdale was needed then. And then the third season, when we should have won the league, Aaron Ramsdale was a calamity. His kicking was terrible. Every time he kicked the ball out, it went straight to the opposition, and the opposition had control of the football, control of the ball for the phase of play, and they created attacks from his kickouts. Let's not talk. Should we talk about Southampton at home, or should we just park that? Or do we want to talk about Fulham this season, or should we park that? Or do we want to talk about Man City? Yeah, Tomiyasu, probably was doing his Laurel Hardy act and being a bit of a wazzock. But Aaron Ramsdale what was he doing that far out of his line? These are major calamities which cost us the title. He wasn't the only one who cost us the title, but Mick Arteta believes that if he wants to win the league or do well in the Champions League, he needs someone who can create attacks from the back. And it's not just Mick Arteta. Guardiola's like that. Klopp's like that. Even Unai Emery's like that with Villa. That is modern football. And at the moment, until Aaron Ramsdale improves that in his game, he's not even going to start for England. There's a reason why Pickford starts for England. And that is the crux. Aaron Ramsdale's a good goalkeeper, but he's not good enough for Arsenal. He's a number 2 at best. What we have now is a finished article. There's no rotation. Aaron Ramsdale is not Arsenal's number 1. You only have to do the eye test to the manager. It's not me being an anti-Aaron Ramsdale. I'm just going by what I've seen with this manager and how football's gone nowadays. Now, if you want me to be honest with you, if Aaron Ramsdale's name was Angel Ramos and he's from Gijón or from somewhere in Andalusia, will we be having a debate about this? We're having a debate because he's English, and we like English goalkeepers to basically feature at the top clubs. It's good for English football that our players play for a Man City, play for a Tottenham, play for a Liverpool, play for a Newcastle, play for a Man United, and play for an Arsenal, because they're very few and far between. But at the end of the day, we're in a results business, and Raya is by far the superior goalkeeper. He by far is what we need in order to challenge. That's how football is. It's dog eat dog. Managers are users. Mick Arteta is a user. He knows that he doesn't need Ramsdale in that goal. Because I'll tell you one thing, if Raya gets injured or he becomes a bit of a calamity, he'll just go and get someone else who's as good as his feet. Doesn't mean Aaron Ramsdale's going to get a chance. And that's the problem. He's not going to stop wanting a goalkeeper who can create from the back or start moves from the back. And that's the problem with Aaron Ramsdale. And until he improves, I'm hearing about Bayern Munich and Chelsea. Do me a favour. Unless he proves his kicking, he ain't going to play for either of them. That's just facts.
I mean, listen, Lee, your thoughts on this one? I like Aaron Ramsdale. I think Ken, has made some good points, to be fair, about some of his weaknesses, but I do like him as a goalkeeper. And it's not really for me about the fact of who's better. This situation, I think, is more pointed towards the manager and how he's dealt with it. And I actually agree with Kenny. I think if Raya comes in and he's your number 1, play him and show everybody that he's your number 1. Don't just dump him in randomly against Everton and then Ramsdale don't get a look in. I think it should have been made clearer to everybody by saying, right, Aaron, you've been fantastic for us, but you're now going to play in the cup games and the Champions League games. But my Premier League number 1 keeper is David Raya. And then everyone knows. He knows, the players know, the fans know, and there's none of this debate happens. It's just Ramsdale's now number 2. Go for it. That's the way it is. That's what I think should have happened, Lee.
I think it's been done poorly. I agree with some things that Kenny said there, but there's other things I don't agree with. Like, Kenny said there's a difference between there's a much bigger difference between Raya and Ramsdale. I don't see that, but I do see that there's a difference between Pickford and Ramsdale. I watched him at Everton the other week, and I said it before that David Raya stands out head and shoulders above Raya, and I think Ramsdale does as well. I think Pickford's a very, very good shot stopper, but his kicking is woeful. It is absolutely woeful. But he still gets the England number 1 shot. And I think that for Ramsdale, I think, he had a very, very good game against Scotland and really, really pushing him. And it's a big kick in the teeth and all that. I totally agree with what we're saying. If Raya is the number 1 and he thinks he's that, then do it. And I think, but you've got to be ruthless in other other areas, which he's not. You know, certainly not been ruthless in other departments. I don't see that there's a massive difference between Ramsdale and Raya at this moment in time. I'm going to say that I thought Raya was brilliant yesterday. Like, you know what I mean? But I'm going to say it now. I thought that Ramsdale was brilliant on Brentford. Where I disagree with Kenny a little bit on that game is that Brentford, every time they had the opportunity, they was like putting in throws and long throws and everything. It's their game, you know what I mean? Like, Brentford didn't go down that route yesterday. When Raya was slightly tested against Tottenham, I think that he fouled. It wasn't as impressive. I thought he was at fault for the first goal. But listen, when he's kicking, I'm going to say it now, very, very comfortable. Like, and I don't know if you notice it, that yesterday, I noticed it quite a lot, there was no real pressure on Raya from goal kicks, because I think they know he's good. You know what I mean? He's not going to give up a mistake where they're reluctant to go in. I want to see if teams are reliant to press. I think Spurs pressed him a little bit more and it wasn't there. I don't think there's much in it. And where I've got a problem with it is because I don't think there's much in it. It's only my opinion. Then do the right thing. I don't think you know after a couple of performances, when you look back, I know that people will say about the Fulham game, probably even say one against Forest and Man United. There were times in those games when Ramsdale made key saves as well that kept us in those games. And certainly when the game against Liverpool last season, I never thought that. We needed a new goalkeeper after that game, like, and Jamie Carragher saying what he wasn't saying, you know, like after that game, I remember Robbie in that interview, oh, what a magnificent! If it wasn't for your magnificent goalkeeper, we would have beaten you and all that, like. And then 6 weeks later, he changes his tune a little bit, like. I do find it very, very funny that there were 6 weeks ago or 7 weeks ago now that Aaron Ramsdale signed a new contract. Why sign a contract? And then go and get somebody else. But, you know, I agree with what Kenny's saying there. I think that Ray has been on the radar for a very, very long while. And you know, if he's the number one, you have to accept that and, you know, and see what it is. The one thing I don't like is the way it's been dealt with. And I also don't like the way that it's put Aaron in a position now where if he sulks, you're going to get caught. You know, people are going to go, oh, that ain't right. If he claps, people are going to mock him for that. I think it put him in a position I felt was unfair after what he'd done, like, you know. So for me, I believe now that Raya is the number one. I don't think that Raya will not play on Tuesday, and I don't think that I think that he'll play against Man City. And what you've got now is that if anything does happen to Raya, you've got somebody good to come in and replace him, and that's what we know that. But I don't think that Aaron's will hang around too much after this season, like, you know what I mean? I think like a little bit like Leno. I thought Leno was exceptional professional for that season that he done. You can say it was harsh on him as well, which it probably was, you know, and what Kenny's saying there is right. You know, German goalkeeper didn't really go as much in as we have on Aaron, have we? Like, you know, maybe there is something in that. But I think at the end of the day, I think it should have been done a lot better. I agree with Kenny. If you was going to bring him in and he was your number one, then don't wait for a mistake.
That's the main thing. That's the main thing for me. That is the main thing. We're going to leave it there, guys. But just quickly, Lee, we're not going to get a chance to do this. So predictions for Tuesday night, mate. What are you going for?
I think I'll take a 1-1, but I think we might nick it 2-1.
Okay, interesting. Kenny, what are you going for Tuesday, mate, against Lawns?
I'm going for 1-0. I'm going for 1-0. I'm still undecided, but I'll probably go 1-0 Arsenal because, you know, we do have that kind of quality. But, you know, I just pray that, you know, that Eddie and Katie isn't starting and that we have our strongest one, front three. And that could be, and that front three, if Martinelli's injured, is Trossard, Jesus in his right position and Saka. And I just also want to thank you for having me on the show because you've done me a favour actually, because I think my wife was trying to get me to watch Who Dares Wins. I don't really want to see getting the 7 bells knocked out of him by you know, Jermaine Pennant, you know, all that. So I don't want to see
more than welcome, bro.
I don't want to really see celebrities, trying to be soldiers. I mean, a lot of them are scared of spiders, and now they want to be soldiers. Do me a favour.
Mate, that's class. We've got a great way to end the stream, of course. Kenny, always a pleasure, man. You're always welcome on here.
It's a pleasure being a show. It wasn't too controversial.
No, that's what it's all about.
Bit of it all. We never agree on much anyway, Lee. You know that.
Well, listen, it was good. It was good debate and good banter as always, man. Make sure you go follow Kenny Ken on Instagram. Shout out to Kenny Ken, and you'll see it in Instagram. Make sure you go follow us if you haven't done so already. Make sure you like and subscribe. We're on our next target, which is to 40k. So make sure that you can come and follow the community and follow the journey.
Get him up to 40k, and Lee will give you will let you into the VIP box at Wimbledon next year. We'll get you tickets to Wimbledon. Except for himself tickets, that he might even get you tickets to the final if you get him out of 40.
Yeah. No, we'll try and get one lucky winner.
We'll try and pick a lucky subscriber out and get him a ticket. So make sure you do that, please, people. If you can come and support myself as well over at Football's 12th Man podcast, we'll be back tomorrow night for a Race for Europe show, and it's going to be mental because City lost, United lost, Villa and Brighton at each other. They're all on the show, man. So it's going to be mental tomorrow night. So make sure you're there for that 6 p.m. tomorrow. And Lee, I'm going to let you say thank you and goodbye because you're in control,
thank you very much. Thanks for Kenny for coming in here. Don't forget, I'm going to do a new show tomorrow at 10 a.m. I'm going to do a weekly roundup, Judges' weekly roundup. There's lots of controversies of the weekend and everything there. We'll be talking, obviously, about VAR. Obviously, like the news that Michael Beale has been sacked, and also that Manchester United must be delighted with the referees at the moment because they seem to have got off yesterday's result scot-free. So until tomorrow at 10 a.m, have a good one.